If it's a day called today, we're talking guitars and life. Let's get into it.
Well, welcome back to the channel, everybody, and another exciting episode of TED Talks, Guitars, and Life. Man, I hope you're having a fantastic day. In this episode, we are going to tackle the neck of that Partscaster guitar jack that I bought on Marketplace for 60 US dollars. It is the guitar that was branded by the person who created it, and so I have taped off their name to protect the innocent, as it were, my friends. And yeah, I don't know much about the guitar. I have a sneaking suspicion that this was a Squier Strat that they took obviously a route or two and created this telly looking headstock and then of course branded it, but it looks and feels like a lot of Squier Strats that I've seen through the shop. That board looks vaguely familiar. It is 21 frets. It is a 4 mil truss rod, and so in this project what we're going to attempt to do is to get this guitar neck ready for a guitar body. And so there's a couple of key challenges that we're going to do. I'm going to walk through a brief project plan with you just so you get the scope of what it is I'm going to be doing in this vid. I'm sure I'll fast forward some action for you just to redeem some of your time. But yeah, man. So going to start with something that I think is should be first, and that is to remove this brand off this headstock. And I want to do that, number one, so that I want to do that before I do any of the fretwork or the neck work, okay? To do all of that and then come back and do sanding up here seemed a little silly to me, so I will be taping with my blue tape this headstock off a little bit, and then I will take that brand off. And I also want to ream those holes out just a smidge. If you were with me in the under the hood vid for this particular guitar, then what you know is that those tuners were in there, Jack. I mean, it took some brute force to get those out, and you can just tell maybe in the vid that there's a lot of chipping around those holes, and so yeah, man, that's not stellar. But so again, I will sand and I can fill those divots in should I choose to do that. And again, it is kind of unfinished, so I may later in the project throw a little finish on there. We'll see about all that since I'll be down to bare wood. So I want to remove the brand. I want to ream these holes out. I want to clean this up. I want to finish the headstock. I need to repair the fingerboard. The biggest culprit right now is this piece that's missing off the fingerboard right there. Can you see that? I never can tell what you guys can see and what you can't see. It is a sizable chunk of that neck missing. But I think we can fill that. So that's on the agenda today. The other kind of dents and imperfections in the fingerboard, I think like that. I can live with that one. Although looking at it, I may attempt to sand and fill that as well. Other than the filling of those two dents, I might even do that one just for fun. There's just no need to, because if I don't know, do I ever bend the A string? Sometimes. Yeah, I don't want to get hung up in a hole there. It's got a couple more up here. That'll be less of a concern for me, I think. Anyway, I'll be assessing all this as I go, guys. I'm just giving you an overview of what we're doing. It is interesting. There's a bit of glue or something here in the neck pocket. It is either that or it is finish. I think that the guitar was reassembled without being cured really well, and things kind of got stuck together, Jake. Yeah. Anyway, so about that. So then we've got fretwork to do. Now again, the 21 frets, they're not rough at all. They weren't scratchy at all. They are dirty. They do need to be polished. There's a little bit of wear showing right here. I'm hoping, yeah, I'm hoping I don't have to get too aggressive with my file, but I do see a little bit of an indentation here. The first 2 frets, every Squier neck I've seen, right? From the marketplace anyway at this price point. Got $60, okay? So fretwork, I've got to take my beveling level and work on the edges of these frets. Then I need to, of course, straighten the neck out, see if I've got level frets, level them if I don't, clean and condition the fingerboard, polish up the frets. There are some nibs in the neck pocket here, and you can tell there's a couple of bonus screw holes here. And when the seller put it together, they put it together incorrectly according to the guy at the box store that he took it to fix it. And yeah, man. And then I'm going to figure out what I'll do with the back of the neck. It's the whole thing is just kind of sticky is the word I would use. Not sticky like grimy sticky, but just not silky smooth, man. So I'll be doing that as well. Well, my friends, that is an overview of the project. Oh, we'll also figure out what the radius of the board is, and I've got my implements of destruction here on the table for your enjoyment, particularly the lots of blue tape for Keith because he loves blue tape. Well, guys, man, that's the adventure we've got before us, man. Why don't you run on to the kitchen, get you a Diet Coke and some popcorn, a soft pretzel, some Cracker Jacks, man. I don't know, whatever you dig, man. Meet me back at the workbench. Let's get into it, Jack. Well, my friends, since it's been a minute since we stained something, I figure we might as well just do this headstock, man. Well, all right, my friends. That is 1 coat of salmon wood stain, actually a coat and a half-ish, somewhere in there. Just dark enough to get rid of some of that lightness to it. And then I went ahead and put a very thin layer of Danish oil natural on it. I'm going to let that dry for a while. I may come back and do another coat of that, or maybe some true oil. I don't want it to be super shiny. That's not my goal. My goal was to just darken it up just a little bit. You know, I like a dark, rich neck, baby. All right, guys, I'm going to let that dry and we'll come back. Yep, that's what we're doing. All right, my friends, that is 2 coats of Danish oil on top of that wood stain. So I'm going to let that dry for a considerable amount of time. And I may come back and throw some true oil over top of it again. I'm not trying to get it to be super shiny. It's not my goal for it to be all glossy and all that. I just want to get a little bit of color on there and protect the raw wood that I went to town on earlier, Jack. Oh, man. All right, guys. Stand by. Okay, my friends. Well, I just wanted to do a little demonstration here. I have measured these 2 guitar necks. This guitar is off of the 2002 Squier, this is origin unknown. However, my suspicion is that this is a Squier bullet neck, as this is a Squier bullet neck. The measurements are pretty much bang on the same. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that my suspicion is that our Partscaster began as a Squier. That's what I think anyway, man. Based on that neck anyway, that would be what I would say. The other fun fact is I did measure the body of the guitar, and the body is about 1.5 inches. Full-size body strat is 1.75. So again, I'm leaning that this is a Squier bullet, or was Squier bullet strat, which has obviously been converted to a Tele style headstock. Yep. Well, my friends, if you're playing the home game, and I believe you are, I do not have a radius gauge that flat, Jack. I don't know what kind of board that is, man. It is flat as a pancake, I know that. For the most part, anyway. Well, we're going to attempt to fill this hole right here. And if we can't, this whole guitar neck is shot. So, we're going to do it, though. We're going to try. Now, I do have 3 different kinds of sawdust. Yeah, I found some baggies, Jack. Man, I lost them for a while, but I found them. There you go. Anyway, I think if I wanted to get some darker, one of the things that we've done on one of the necks that we had through the channel, I don't remember which guitar it was now, man. There's been so many. I think I'm going to scrape this board a little bit and see if I can't get any darker material anyway. I just need material to fill that hole. Worst case, the other thing I was thinking about doing is putting a little bit of stain, making a little concoction. In fact, I'm not going to scrape that board. I'm going to do that, Jack. Why, Ted, why would you do something like that, man? Because I ain't never done it. The channel's about learning, baby. So let's learn some stuff. Okay, my friends. Well, I have several baggies of sandpaper. However, I don't have anything this dark. One thing I could have done is scrape the board to try to get this color scheme kind of going. So what I did is I took some of that stain that we've been using for the headstock, and I put it and mixed it with some of that sawdust, and so that I have a darker brown, kind of a sawdust material. So I don't know, is this going to work? I don't know, guys. And really, given the size of that hole in this fingerboard, I don't know if this is going to work at all. However, we're going to give it the old college try. And I'm going to do this before I tackle the frets. There is a reason for that. In my view, I think filling the hole before I start filing on frets is better than if I were to file frets with that big gaping hole there. I'm afraid I'd grab it and yank it out. So I'm going to put basically a false wall here. Okay. Something like that. So I'm kind of creating the side of the fingerboard. All right. So I'm going to attempt to put some of this sawdust material in that hole. The key is attempt, guys. I should more than likely be wearing gloves, man. Head on in there. Okay, now I'm going to do something very scary. I'm going to take some black. I'm not going to take black. I'm going to take some glue. Now, the bad thing about my super glue, my C8 glue, is that attached to this, so I cannot unattach it. So I can't get my little apparatus in there. So I'm going to take a little kind of syringe thing. And I'm going to just try to do this, guys. Something like that. Well, all right, my friends, let's recap. So we took some sawdust. Anytime I drill anything, I try to collect my sawdust. We mix the sawdust with the salmon wood stain. We created kind of a little mud pie type situation, and we filled this hole right here, and we filled this monster crater down here. And I think, all things being equal, that looks pretty good. And then we did have one little divot here. That's just a little bit of CA glue. So I'm going to move on to frets now, and we'll see how my repairs hold up on the fingerboard after I do some sanding. Here we go. Okay, friends, we have one level guitar neck. Do we have high frets? Let's find out. Yep. Say it with me, guys. Clean your area. Well, my friends, since none of those holes are in the right place, that's not exactly true, man. You could just tell. That one's kind of offset. These two are offset. So I'm going to go ahead and fill all the holes. And whatever tuners that I'll put on the guitar, I will just re-drill holes, man. Yep. So I'm just going to take some tight bond and some toothpicks that I've cut for the occasion. Something like that. Now, a wiser version of myself, I would have did this before I refinned the neck. The headstock is what I mean. But I just didn't have that. I did not have that awareness at the time I was doing it, guys. So, man, when you guys do this kind of stuff, man, give yourself grace, man. There's entirely too many haters in the world, man. Just be kind to yourself, guys. Just be kind to yourselves. Life is too short to get caught up in nonsense, man. That's my thought, anyway. Is this guy going to talk about guitars or just... Hey, it's guitars and life, Jake. That's the life part. Okay. Yeah, like it was that easy. Yeah, like the hater just went, oh yeah, sure. Oh, I get it. That makes perfect sense, Ted. That was serendipitous. It broke right in the hole, didn't it? Ah. Oh, good times. Good times. Good time was had by all. Did you guys watch me spill my super glue earlier? My CA glue? Yeah, it went all over the workbench. But no harm, no foul, man. Hey, here's a thought. Just FYI. When you do this kind of thing, you should probably put one in and clean the glue around it instead of putting them all in. And they tried to get to all that glue. Oh yeah, I got something in there already. I keep forgetting. Alright, that serendipitously broke off for us. So yeah, let's put a big old glob of glue and then press it down, hit it with the hammer. So we'll let this dry. I did take my file to the nibs of this back of the neck in the neck pocket. Now again, had 2 extra holes. I might as well fill those up while I'm here. I don't think we'll be needing those. However, well, okay, everybody. That brings us to a conclusion of the neck work that we can do on the old Partscaster, which I believe was a Squier Bullet Strat at one point in time. We did copacetically remove that brand from that headstock, my friends. We did ream the holes in that headstock as well, so those tuners do not need to be crammed in there anymore. And we did put a little bit of finish on the headstock. We did do repairs on the fingerboard. We did all our fretwork, man. We did also, I filed the nibs down on the back of the neck. And we did polish, clean, and condition this fingerboard, my friends. I believe that that looks pretty good, man. What do you guys think, man? I think that looks pretty good. Our repair seems to be holding up pretty well. I don't even know if you could see it without me pointing it out to you guys. It was a big hole right here. There was another one kind of up here, a smaller one that you probably can't see. That lighting is really horrible for show and tell. I do apologize. Yeah, guys, I did fill in the extra holes that were here. We had 2 bonus holes on the back of the neck. I took my file and
filed the nibs down, and I did also go ahead and fill in all the holes for where the tuner screws, because they were all cattywampus, man. And so anyway, guys, I also sanded. I started with my Scotch pad, took the poly off the back of that neck. I sanded it with 2500 grit sandpaper. I threw a coat of True Oil on there, and I may do another. I may buff that out with some 4/0 steel wool. Do that again. Buff that out one last time and put some Howard feed wax on there, baby, for that perfect smoothness that I like. Well, guys, that is the neck of the Partscaster, man. What a day it has been working on this old guitar neck, man. I hope that whatever you got going on today, man, that you are doing what you dig and digging what you do, Jack. Man, thanks for any time that you gave me today out of your busy schedules, man, just to pull over to the side of the road and talk about guitars and life for a minute, man. I sure appreciate each and every one of you hanging out with me, man. You guys are the best. Well, as always, wherever you are in your guitar journey, I pray it's a long, smooth, safe, joy-filled ride for you, Jack. Hey, rock on with your bad selves, everybody. Catch you down the road.